Well, everybody's heard about the bird. Bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner when a bird, bird, bird. Bird is a winner when a bird, bird, bird. When a bird is a winner when a bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner when a bird, bird, bird. When the bird is a winner when a bird, bird. The bird's a winner when a bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner when a bird, bird, bird. When the bird is a winner when a bird, bird. The bird's a winner when a don't you know about the bird? Well, everybody knows that the bird is a winner when a bird, bird. The bird's a winner when a everybody's heard about the bird. Bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner when a bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner when a bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner when a bird, bird. The bird's a winner when a bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner when a bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner when a bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner when a bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner when a don't you know about the bird? Well, everybody's talking about the bird, when a bird, bird. The bird's a winner when a bird.
Okay. Wow. Good goobly-goo. Good goobly-goo. Tom.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, welcome everyone.
Now I'm just dancing to the music in my head.
Bird, 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 the bird is the word. Bird, 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 bird is the word. Don't you know? I forgot the rest. Don't you know? I got the word. The word is the bird and the bird. Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to Mega Life 21 Mayhem, and I am your host, James Piranha Madonna, for Mega Life 21 Mayhem, and this is Volume 11. Volume 11 of Regional Food and Drink and Honest Craft Beer Reviews, Volume 11. And I am here with my special guest, the one and only Tom Mulvihill, the Beer Whisperer. How are you feeling today, Tom? I know
I
you
am
got
good. Oh, man, we had some heat. I don't know about y'all, brother, but we're talking.
What was that? You broke
I
up.
don't know.
You're
Kind of over 100 out here.
Yeah, us too. This is the beginning of a heat wave, a tropical heat wave. Hot fun in the summertime and all that. I bet. Well, you know, I was joking around with my partner, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, that the people who wrote all these summer songs, they probably had their central air conditioning blasting when they wrote these songs.
Yeah.
And they had.
Oh, and it's hotter than hell in July out there right now.
Yeah, they had the access to their Olympic-sized pools and everything, or piscina, as they say in Spanish, piscina. Yeah, Volume 11, Honest Craft Beer Reviews, Regional Food and Drink, and we are going to hear about some more summer delights, summer craft beers from Tom the Beer Whisperer. But before I start ranting and raving, let's go through the first beer, being that you got it in your hot hand.
You know what? The weather's lined up, but I just got home and I had to get them cold, so I went with the standby. Not a standby, but it's one I cold, which it's a Sierra Nevada Torpedo.
Torpedo.
It's 2% IPA, and the reason why this works on a hot day, because even if you want something lighter, this works because it's also refreshing. Those big hops also work on your palate and are very refreshing. And I'm going to drink, I actually got to know I'm going to go old school and hopefully really take off some serious beer snobs by going old school and drinking this puppet right out the can. But I did pour just a little bit in the glass, so you can take a look at the amazing color on this.
Yes, it's similar to the other summer brews that we seen last week. It's a nice color, you know. It's as long as it's not too light, because then it reminds me of that watered down Polar from Venezuela, a horrible, poor excuse for beer. But yeah, we're back now. We're back now.
My internet went belly, so I'm getting us back. So, anyways, you want to continue?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Take off with, I'm drinking this IPA because it's tasty and hoppy.
Tasty and
How's
hoppy.
that for a description?
Tasty and hoppy. Yeah, it's
torpedo. Detailed enough for you beer geeks out there. It tastes good and it's hoppy. Makes my taste buds just jump for joy back there. There's some happiness going on. Happy.
Hoppy. Get some of this. If it's hoppy, it's
hoppy
good
and happy. Happy and hoppy.
It's good for poppy. Hoppy is good for poppy. Now listen. The name of this is Torpedo, and it's
it's a Sierra Nevada product. Torpedo, boom. Torpedo.
And what are the numbers on this? So
it's 7.2, and you know what? I got caught with my pants down today, and I've done a review on this several times, but I just don't remember the IBUs. I didn't have time to look it back up. So anyway, it is 7.2%. I don't remember that. I think it's. I'll have to look it up to correct myself, but I think it's 65, but I could be wrong.
65. What happened to your hat?
My hat was sweating while I was trying to get the internet fixed.
Oh.
So I took it off, but here you go. This is my son's hat, and he says when I wear it, I look like a white DMC.
Well, I got mine on, so,
all right.
You know, we look like
I don't usually wear hats because it makes my head sweat.
Well, it does the same for me, but, you know, it's a prop, it's a gimmick. We look like the Bruise Brothers instead of the Blues Brothers. The Bruise, B-R-E-W, the Bruise Brothers. Well, the hat and the song by you know, The Bird Is the Word. The Trashmen, that was it. The guys that sang the Trashmen.
I'm going to finish this last bit out of this cup here.
Oh, yeah. Well, you look thirsty. You're going through that can fast. Finish it up.
You know, sometimes a beer like this beer is fine a little warm. But as hot as it is, hot, I actually want it really cold. And that might frost the serious, you know, 20-something beer snobs, but I don't care because a beer like this is also good very cold. Yeah. It's also decent warm, but for me, not at 110 plus weather. So,
well,
I want it cold.
In the summer, the hazy, lazy, crazy days of summer, I like it semi-frozen, like maybe 30% frosty, you know, and frozen.
Yeah, those lighter lagers, man, you want to ride at about 33 degrees, man. I mean, just this far from slush.
Exactly, because, of course, 32 degrees Fahrenheit is the point of freezing, right? I believe, 32 degrees.
Yeah, and if you got a good beer fridge, set that baby to 34, and you're going to be beautiful.
It's going to have enough liquidity to be able to pour. But then again, it's going to be like a frozen drink, like a frozen margarita. The bird is the word. Now, talking about beers.
I planned to do some lighter ones, and I'm going to, but they had to sit in my car longer than planned, so I had to get them chilled back again. So I want to drink this one since I had it ready.
Well, since you're finishing up Sierra Nevada's Torpedo for the summer, because it is the beginning of summer, I want to start bitch slapping some food and drink snobs. Now,
I'm gonna be right back with you. Go ahead, you can talk it. I'm just my stuff ready here. Go ahead.
I notice a lot of these groups consist of people that are the foremost authority on just about everything, even though they may be knowledgeable, or then again they may not be, but many of them are. And you know, when it comes to the internet, every Tom, Dick, and Harry is a guru on all subjects of life. And you know, the point is, there's nothing shameful in saying, I really do not know the answer to your question. Let me research it for you, and I'll get back to you on that.
I agree. And if you've noticed, I've done that to you on a couple occasions. Yes. I told you I'm not sure, but I will get it. Yeah, you know.
It's better than somebody making up something just to look like a big shot or a big,
there we go.
Guru know-it-all, you know, just making up stuff. You know, and these beer snobs, I just want you to know, I noticed that the beer snobs...
I've got that anti-beer snob beer right here, and I'm drinking this for a reason. This is an Olympia, and it's recently back on the market. And beer snobs are going to turn their head up at this, turn their nose up at this fizzy yellow beverage. And the reason I'm drinking this, baby, is because I was able to find a 12-pack of it in St. Louis. I can't get it here. But this is what my dad used to drink. So it's kind of a nostalgia thing. This was actually the first beer that I stole off the kitchen table and took a sip of. So
a sentimental value.
This is my yellow fizzy beverage of choice right here.
Let me move your fingers from the front of it. Keep a still. Let's get a still shot of Olympia, since it's a very important nostalgic beer in your childhood. Let's get a nice close shot of Olympia with that horseshoe, that orange horseshoe. And what is the brewing company's name?
Well, I believe now it is brewed by Pabst. It was originally Olympia Brewing Company.
Pabst beer?
They sold out in, I believe they originally sold out in 83 or 85 to Heilman, which Heilman then sold out to Pabst.
Pabst.
And then it became a really bad beer, and then it went off the market completely. A small handful of years ago, they kind of revamped it and brought it back to what it used to be. And it's actually, you know, I mean, it is a typical light yellow, yellow fizzy beverage, yellow fizzy beer. But it actually tastes...
Right. Now, you said Pabst as in Pabst Blue Ribbon, right?
As in PBR, yeah. And I tell you something else. I picked this up in a 12-pack for $6.15.
What? Oh, 12.
12-pack for $6.15. And I'm telling you, this beer, even though it's it's going to be called a bargain beer, snobs are going to go like this. It is better, or I'm going to say every bit as good as any other big macro on the market. You know, Bud, Miller, Coors, whatever you want to drink. This is every bit as good. And I actually like it better, and I'll tell you why. It's probably nostalgia. It's probably my head playing tricks with my taste buds. And I'm going to admit that right up front. But to me, it's got a crisper, cleaner finish than a Budweiser, or especially a Miller. It doesn't lay lazy on your taste buds. And it is, a beer like this is fine in 100-degree weather. Be beer that you're probably going to drink fairly quick. Right. And at $6.15 and 12-pack, can you really go wrong?
It's light, but then again, it's good tasting and refreshing. It doesn't taste like crap like your Budweiser and your Coors and your Miller.
And what I just did there for anybody that grew up and bought it in the 70s, I just did a guzzle. That was a guzzle. A guzzle is several big swigs all rolled up into one. That's a guzzle. And a chug would be if I was to drink all of it. That's the difference between a guzzle and a chug.
Now, when you pour, if you pour
that, guzzle is a good amount.
If you pour that, what is it? Is it an amber? Is it very light, like a piss yellow, or?
Let me pour a little bit of stuff here.
Yeah, just so we can see the color of Olympia. Now, what is this? Is this a Pilsner, a lager? What exactly is it?
It's just a light lager, yeah. Here, well, that wasn't a good pour.
Yeah, I could see it. All right, it's a light beer.
Yeah, but then again, not any lighter than your big macros. You know what I'm saying?
Any of the macros, even a Corona. It's it's the same.
Oh, it's actually much more flavorful than a Corona. And in my opinion, of all the Mexican beers out there, Corona is the absolute worst. Corona's like drinking pee, man. There's nothing to Corona. It's terrible, terrible, terrible.
You know,
but I do like a Tecate. I find a Tecate more refreshing.
Well, what's
everybody's got their Mexican beer of choice.
Well, what's amazing about Corona is it's made by the Modelo Brewing Company, which actually makes a fantastic, a fairly decent dark beer called Negro Modelo.
Negro Modelo, yeah. I've always considered Corona, a yuppie beer.
Yeah, well, you know what? Yuppies, food and drink and beer snobs, they're all in the same category as far as I'm concerned. And whether they have the knowledge or not, or whether they look it up and do their research and then do a show, whatever they do, doesn't matter. I noticed that all these hoity-toity, yuppie food, drink, and beer snobs never leave comments under our shows. And my take on that is they're jealous. They know that we provide, whether it be you and I, okay, Tom the Beer Whisperer and James, whether it be John Starodumsky and James, whether it be Red Rooster and James, or whether it be all of us collectively, or whether it be James P. Madonna and the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisman, no matter how you shake it, the people in our group, in our clique or clan, nobody is more informative and entertaining with a fantastic sense of humor like us. Totally ad-libbed, unrehearsed. We're just naturally witty and funny, often zany, sometimes crazy, but very educational and intellectual and sometimes brilliant, all wrapped up into one. And these jabronis, these pencil neck geek jabroni, yuppie, food, drink, and beer snobs are just flat out jealous, and I'd love to get them in a camel clutch so bad, because I know they're jealous because they never leave comments on any of our videos. You people can go fuck yourself. I don't give a shit if you can't handle a curse word, because this is Internet Talk Radio, jabronis. Corporate and FCC free. All right. I said what I had to say.
Well, I tell you, I'll give you my spin on it real quick. You know, I think we're in a society now where, I think you touched on it a little bit earlier, where everybody thinks they're an expert on something. And so I think, with the exception, with things like John and Red and even Stuart, who's made a couple comments. I want to comment. I've noticed on some of the shows, we won't want to nitpick, or they only want to say things that are negative, And I've looked back some craziness, and there's some zaniness, and there's supposed to be. But I've also looked back, and there's also some good. So, I think people should take it as a whole. And I think a lot of times, especially with craft beer these days, I think everybody's taking it way too seriously. So when I do this thing that I do, I tell you the information, I give you the information I know about the beer. I'm not silly. And I think some of the serious beer snobs take offense to that because they think it ought to be serious. I think Michael Jackson was one of the great, I'm not talking about the singer, I'm talking about the beer guy, was one of the great aficionados of beer. And I think some of these guys, it seems like everybody wants to be Michael Jackson on video and wants to be real serious. But if you look at stuff and read his books, he did have a sense of humor. And a lot of people are just taking it way too serious. I mean, I respect Michael Jackson. I'm not dissing him in any way. And I love to give serious information. But I like to think of myself somewhere between, an intelligent beer guy and Foster Brooks. Somewhere in the middle where I'm, it is. I love craft beer and I love what they're doing with it. But then again, it's not, it's not open heart surgery either. You know what I'm saying? Well, it is after all this beer, so let's not make more out of it than it really is.
Well, it's a very good idea to follow your own style, your own gimmick. I mean, of course, imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. But the bottom line is follow your own unique personality and do what's comfortable, and you will be a one of a kind personality.
Well,
And, you know,
I've watched a lot of videos, beer videos. And I noticed when I first started doing mine, I didn't watch any before I did them. So I did them. I did them a little zany, and with some information. But then I started watching some other videos and saw how most folks were doing them really straight, really serious. So I tried that for a short bit, but it wasn't me. I didn't feel comfortable doing it. So then I just kind of went back and said, you know what, turn on the webcam and just be who you are. And that's what I've done, you know. And that's my advice to anybody that's starting to do, personality. I mean, if you're generally stuffy, then do a stuffy video. You know, you don't force zaniness if that's not who you are. But I'm not a stuffy guy. I'm a crazy guy. I mean, I'm actually like this. I'm like this in real life. I'm not just like this for this show. I'm live, and even when I'm not drinking, and that's kind of always been that's kind of been my joke. Is, you know, if you act like this 24/7, nobody knows when you are drinking. So, you know, and that's what I say to people: just be who you are, because that's what I've decided to do. That's what works. But I hope people like my videos, and I hope they watch them. But if it's not their thing, it's not their thing, and that's cool.
well, you're unfortunately you're having some internet difficulties. Your screen is freezing every now and then, and you're breaking up. But you know, we got most of it. Yeah.
Hear me again, or am I freezing up on you?
No, not now. You're not. No.
Okay.
Before, you know, a little.
But I'm gonna froth.
Yeah, some evil force is trying to sabotage our show.
Have you lost me again?
No, well, every once in a while you get choppy. I think it's the you have overcast weather or storms coming in your area.
I don't think we don't have any storms coming in, do we see? I don't think so.
I think the wire.
I think it's just my.
The wireless.
Yeah, we've got nothing but heat.
Not the Jamaican beer?
Yes. And there's a reason why I'm drinking this. You want to know what it is?
Red Stripe. What is the
It's
reason? What?
freaking hot. It's freaking hot. It's freaking hot. It's freaking hot. That's why I'm drinking this, because it's light and it's refreshing. I know I'm going to get folks to say, oh, that's just a fizzy yellow. Yes, it is, but it does taste good. There's a reason why. There's a reason why climates like Mexico and Jamaica, make these beers like this, because it's refreshing when it's hot.
Well, I could drink a heavy dark beer in the tropics. It doesn't bother me, but I know where you're coming from. I never had Red Stripe before. If before you finish it, if you could show us the color. Well, I mean,
okay, hold on a second.
Yeah, just enough so we could see the color. You know, maybe a couple inches in the glass, you know. Okay, it's another light one. Very light.
Very similar in color.
Very light, okay. Like you said, it's a great heat wave beer.
Oh, it is. It is. Ooh, my belly's full. Yeah, I drank those others so fast and my belly's full. Yeah, there's a reason why you drink certain beer at a certain time of the year. There's a reason why this is a Jamaican beer, because, surprise, surprise, it's hot in Jamaica.
Right. Now, you've told me, I told you, actually, that I loved Indian beer. I mean, from India. I tried this lager from India, and it was really good. I forgot the name of it. I don't know if it was called Superior or what, but I got to look it up. I think that was the name of it. But when I locate the exact name, because when I see the label, I'll know that's the one I have. I'll just post it on Honest Craft Beer Reviews. But getting back to the seriousness of the food, drink, and beer snobs, the yuppies, they want to sound so sophisticated. So heaven forbid they should crack a joke. I think that's a problem. I think I've even watched some beer reviewers that had
had some of their early reviews where they were a little goofy, and have since tried to get them a little more serious. And I think that's a mistake. I think there's 101 million serious craft beer reviewers out there. I don't think there's many guys like me. And like I said, I understand I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but there's one thing you're not going to hear about me. I'm not trying to be anybody else. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I am who I am. You either you like it, you're not. That's okay. But at least I'm not a poser, and I'm not trying to be somebody else.
Right. You're not pretentious. It's just like this dude that put a barbecue, started doing a series of barbecue videos. Most of his barbecue video was stirring his own personal mixture of barbecue sauce. And, he's standing over the pot, just gently stirring the barbecue sauce. Everything was about the sauce. Just like people over at the hot dog group, the Hot Dog Nation. I mean, how many things can you say about a hot dog? Either it's cheap roadkill supermarket hot dog, or it was freshly made Frankfurter in a Polish or German provisions butcher made it fresh, or either Thumann's or say bread or what's the other one? Nathan's or whatever. But most of it is just about
beef makes a good dog.
Yeah, the kosher hot dogs are high quality, but what I'm saying is most of the group is about many combinations of toppings. If you have to load so much fluff and frills, and if you got to put so much of a topping or toppings on a hot dog and smother it with toppings, then you can't say much about the quality of the Frankfurter if everything is in the topping. Like they brag that John Fox is the king. He's the king culinary expert on hot dogs. Nobody can beat John Fox in a debate because he was on television. Blah blah blah, and he's an expert on hot dogs. That must mean he's an expert on toppings. Because how much could you say about a Frankfurter? Either it's high quality or it's not. Same thing with beer. I mean, there's only so much you can say about the ingredients, and you gotta explain it in layman's fashion. How it tastes.
Especially right now IPAs and serious hoppy beers are kind of all the rage in the craft. And folks want to give you, 50 different adjectives to describe grapefruit or 50 different adjectives to describe piney. I choose not to go that direction because everybody's doing it. But, you should taste certain things, and you should look for certain qualities. But, let's not get crazy, folks. I mean, not everybody has to be the Galloping Gourmet out there, you know what I'm saying?
Not even the Galloping Gourmet was a Galloping Gourmet. He was drunk most of the time. Graham Kerr.
Graham Kerr, right?
Yeah, he was, I don't know if he still does.
That's why I loved watching Emerald show, because you could always tell by the end of the show he looked like he was about half in the bag.
Or Emerald is quite rotund right now. I think he might have passed up Mario Battaglia.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It was funny watching him because you can almost see the progression. I mean, but usually by the end of the show he looked like he was half in the bag, man.
Oh yeah. See, Graham Kerr really did have an alcohol problem.
Did he really?
He lived in Eastern Shore, Maryland.
I didn't know.
British guy. Now, anything distinctive about Red Stripe? Like, I'll give you an example. When I drink an Asian beer like Qingdao, or I was drinking this other Asian beer called Dynasty, it was only like a little over $3 for a 6-pack. I know the beer snobs are going to say something about it because they're always mentioning the high prices they pay for craft beer. They're always throwing prices in there, how much they spend. Well, this Dynasty beer was dirt cheap, and it tasted a lot like Kirin, the Japanese beer, or Qingdao.
Oh, yeah.
You taste that they use rice. It has that little bit of sake flavor. You could taste the rice in the beer. So, but, I'm not ashamed to mention that a beer is great and cheap. Don't I say that about Yinling? Yinling, America's oldest brewery, Yinling Lager, tastes fantastic. It's a great craft microbrew in every way, and it's cheaper than me buying Michelob or Miller. It's like I pay. There you go. You almost reminded me of this tilapia I saw in the aquarium.
Wowzer! I got stuff going on in there.
Oh, yeah.
And we do have no one. I had some Mexican food today, so if I suddenly break out of here, I'm out of the shop. I can finally decide to pass.
You're gonna love this Mexican joint by me, Il Rancho. Every Wednesday, all you can eat, $10, and it's all home style, home cooked. You know, it's the best tasting Mexican food you'll ever have. Like all the beef and the chicken and the pork, it's all marinated. It's not fatty. It's all flavorful and marinated. And you never get ground beef in an enchilada or a burrito or whatever. You get shreds. You get slices of steak. You know, it's really a great place. And you can order anything on the menu if you feel like having pork chops or buffalo hot wings or whatever. You could, you know, and it's mix and match, and all you can eat for $10. But anyway, so you like the Red Stripe, right?
You know, it's not a beer I want every day, but like I said, it's 110 freaking degrees out there. Yeah, I mean, this is a beer that hits the spot. You know how you feel when you come in from outside, it's 110 degrees, you got sweat dripping from all parts of your body and dripping down your leg.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this is a beer that hits the spot. And I tell you what's likable about it. After I take a drink.
And all you beer snobs out there, if you don't like it, it's too damn bad. Pennsylvania.
This isn't a serious craft beer, but it's also not Budweiser either. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not it's above that macro category. It doesn't have super big flavor. It's not supposed. It's supposed to be refreshing, and that's what it is. And what it has above the Bud, the Miller, the Coors is that it doesn't have that lazy finish. It doesn't lay. You don't have that lingering sweetness. It's not seriously hoppy, but you can tell there is some there. But it just finishes nice and crisp on you, which is why it's refreshing, because you drink it and you go, oh, you know, it's kind of got that old school flavor about it, and that's why this is a good 100-degree weather beer, which is, you know, what the weather's like in Jamaica.
Well, the only difference between the islands of the Caribbean and the mainland United States.
This is a 24-ounce bottle. I don't know if you can tell that from there. This is a 24-ounce bottle. I paid $2.50 for it. You know, not crazy expensive.
$2.50.
$2.50
for 6 of them, or just the one?
For the 124-ounce bottle.
Oh,
I can't get it. The place that I bought this, actually, you can get a 6-pack for about $7.50, or you can buy a 12-pack of them for about $11.50. Which makes it, about $5.75 a 6-pack, which is pretty reasonable. But I was actually going to drink this earlier. This is why I just bought the one bottle. But then something came up and I couldn't drink it. That's why I still have it. Otherwise, I probably would have bought the 12-pack. But yeah, I mean, still $2.50 for a 24-ounce bottle is not bad.
Okay, not bad at all. Yeah, like I was going to say, the difference between the summers in the tropics and the islands and in the mainland United States is they have the trade winds. It gets very breezy over there. You know, when you're on the coast, especially. But we don't have the luxury.
And this morning's Mexican food. Well, it didn't work.
So what did you? I never ordered burritos because a burrito. I order enchiladas. I like quesadillas. I like tamales. I never ordered.
Have you ever had chilaquiles?
I like tacos, crunchy tacos. What is that called?
Have you ever had chilaquiles?
What is that?
Chilaquiles is a dish from, well, I don't know where it's from exactly, but I know it's very popular at the Juarez area of Mexico. And please forgive me, I'm a white guy and I can't roll my R's. But
Juarez.
The place that I had breakfast, early lunch or breakfast this morning, It's called Tortilleria, and it's here in town. And the folks that own the place are from Mexico. It's a family operation. The son was actually born in the States, and he runs the business end. But his mama runs the kitchen, and it's basically all their family recipes. So it's not. It's not regional. I mean, it's actually Mexican. I mean, true Mexican food. Yeah. And when my wife and I, son and daughter, first started going to that place several years ago, we were the only white folks in the place. I mean, nobody would be speaking English but us. But now other folks, there have been other folks from California, Arizona, and Texas that have moved out here that have found the place because it is the only real authentic Mexican place out here. Let me tell you what chilaquiles is, if you have me to ramble on in another minute, is that it's basically, to start with, they make their own tortillas in there, and they fry their own chips. So they take their tortillas, and they take the chips, and then they simmer them in their enchilada sauce. And then they put cheese on it, and let it simmer some more. And then they take it out, put it on your plate, and then sprinkle a little more cheese on it. And that's what chilaquiles are. But that's what modern chilaquiles are. Traditional chilaquiles were basically leftover enchiladas. As in, if you had leftover cheese enchiladas, you cut them up into small pieces, put them back into some more sauce to stretch it out. And it's basically peasant food, It was poor people food. Well, and that's traditionally what it is. But that's why I love the dish, because I love the poor people food. But for breakfast, they toss a couple eggs over the top. So I've got this big mess of cheese and chips and the best enchilada sauce you'll ever have in your life, topped by 2 over medium eggs, and it's just beautiful. It's a great way to start a day.
Well, on the East Coast, we call them nachos and cheese.
Not nachos and cheese. It's just the cheese melted on there. I'm talking about something that's been slow simmering for a long time.
Oh, okay. Now,
you take the chips and you simmer them, just simmer. Just kind of slow cook for a long period of time, where it doesn't just. We're not talking about just sauce over chips. We're talking about sauce that's just permeated the chip.
Well, what I don't like about burritos, I got a problem with burritos. A burrito is, of course, a corn or flour tortilla. Let's say flour tortilla, wrapped around a lot of filler. They use white rice as a filler, so they end up giving you less meat.
Yeah.
They put, it's like potluck.
It depends on where you're getting it from, and again, the place I went to today has specific things. They have the shredded beef, and I'm talking like you were earlier that it's all the slow roasted beef or the slow roasted, the carnitas that's cooked extremely slow. The carnitas is pork, the carne asada is beef. They just wrapped in it. They don't use that filling. The rice and the beans are on the side unless you specific burrito.
Yeah, most burritos out of my neck of the woods are just pretty much like a ripoff. They fill them up with white rice, and that's an excuse not to give you too much meat. And sometimes you get a little guacamole in there, but I like to know what's inside my Mexican food. That's why I order enchiladas. I like tamales because I love the taste of the corn, and
yeah,
it has to be.
I'm an enchilada guy. Enchiladas is my favorite thing.
I don't want any ground.
I'm kind of a purist with enchilada. I mean, I love the traditional just cheese and onion enchilada.
Yeah, well, I order beef enchiladas like ranchero style. It has the tomato sauce on top, and then there's chicken enchilada, which is called enchiladas suiza or enchiladas verde. And what they do is they don't put Tom, hold on, please.
Sour cream.
Okay, they don't put before I forget, they don't put tomato sauce, a tomato-based sauce on top of enchilada suiza or verde. It's a chicken enchilada, high quality chicken, hopefully the white meat, the breast that's been marinated. And what they do is they put a green tomatillo sauce on top of it. That's what I usually order.
Yeah.
When I go to the
yeah, but a Suiza sauce is a sour cream sauce.
Yes, there's sour cream on top, but there is a green tomatillo sauce, and the tomatillo looks like a green tomato, but it's a tomato-like vegetable that's popular.
Yeah, it's not a tomato, no.
Yeah.
And if I am correct, I believe that tomatillo is in the gooseberry family. Am I right?
Really? It's a gooseberry. Wow. So it is classified as a fruit.
It's in the nightshade family. I know they said it's in the same category as a gooseberry.
Okay. Very good. I like it a lot. I mean,
I'm gonna take this last swig here.
But I love sour cream too. Maybe that's another reason why I order enchilada Suiza. But I always start off with this chicken soup with lime in it, and slice some cheese and tortillas, sliced mostly cheese and lime in the chicken soup. I order that. If I order black bean soup, which I love, it'll make me a little too full to maximize my enchilada and tamale eating. So so I don't want to get too full too soon. So then I go for the enchilada Suiza, and then I'll get some pork, which are excellent, pork lechon quesadillas, you know, with some crispy beef tacos, tamales, and then I'll end it with maybe some more tacos because they're light, and I might have some buffalo wings, some hot wings, and that's pretty much what I order at El Rancho. But and then I'll order. They have tamarind, you know, tropical fruit sodas like tamarind and guava or something of that nature, passion fruit, if they happen to have it. But anyway, which is also called parcha in Puerto Rico, or chinola in the Dominican Republic, or maracuya in South America and Central America, passion fruit. I like mamey, I like guanabana, which is soursop. But anyway, any last words on Red Stripe?
No, it's done. I do. Maybe it's good. You know, I mean, it's not supposed to be an extremely flavorful beer, but it isn't terrible either. Perfect on a day like today. So, you know, then there you have it. Okay, I got to ask you a question. You want to keep going?
Well, maybe one more if you're able to.
Okay, yeah, I am, but I need to take about a couple-minute break, so I need you to talk about something until I come right back.
Now, while you're away, could I mention about? I don't know the person or what group the person belongs to.
You can talk about whatever you want to, and I'll go take care of some paperwork, and I'll be right back.
All right, go ahead. All right. While Tom, the beer whisperer, is doing something, he'll be back though. Don't worry. There is an individual, a female individual, that used to be a friend of Tom Mulvihill, the beer whisperer. Tom refuses to tell me her name or what group she's from or her Facebook profile because he doesn't want me to make too many waves because he knows how I am. You know, because I will tear her a new asshole, basically, online. This insensitive person that lacks compassion what she said to Tom, the beer whisperer, was the reason why he keeps on mentioning his son Seamus's condition, medical condition, is because Tom is trying to acquire sympathy from people. That's why he keeps on mentioning it. Very insensitive and a lack of compassion. Terrible. And whoever this person is, this person won is the new member of the Medusa Award, the Mega Life 21 Mayhem James Piranha Madonna Medusa Award. You remember Medusa from Greek mythology, the woman with all the snakes for hair, and she makes men turn to stone. Well, shame on you. You are despicable, whoever you are, and I hope you watch this show because you know who you are. How dare you trivialize Tom the Beer Whisperer's son's condition, his leukemia condition, by trivializing it, by accusing him of using it as a way to get attention or sympathy. Shame on you. And Tom has no use for you. And if I knew your name, I would mention you on my show Saturday by name, and I will send you a nice juicy message telling you off very thoroughly. So that's that. See, I behaved myself. I didn't use any curse. I didn't use any curse words.
You know what happened was, have you ever had a discussion with somebody, and for some reason you start on a particular topic, but for some reason something gets said, and it takes a turn and becomes about something it wasn't supposed to be.
Right.
Well, that's kind of what happened here. We were having a discussion, and actually I wasn't even part of the discussion. I just made a comment about it. It was about somebody had mentioned how either Social Security benefits and SSI benefits had been cut. And the person I had the situation with made the comment about, but don't you think a good portion of these people are faking it? And my comment was, well, in my situation, I never said I filed for SSI, or nor did I said, I didn't say anything of the sort. I just said that I know for a fact that there is a lot involved to finally get it. There is a lot of paperwork, and there's a lot involved.
Well, you have to go to the doctor.
She said it to me that I had, that I was getting it, and then kind of went on, and then she accused me of a lot of things. She actually accused me of not taking free medical care that was available to me, that I should have went to a specific hospital that offered free medical care instead of choosing the medical care that I did. Now, she doesn't know, and I tried to explain, but she still didn't get it, that free medical care wasn't ever offered. In fact, I was told that it wasn't available to me. I took the medical care that the doctor advised me to take for my son. It's not, people that this isn't happening to don't understand how fast something like this happens. I mean, and here's how fast it happened. My son was in the emergency room at 8:30. Admitted to the hospital at 11. Told by noon he had to be on a transport to St. Louis Children's Hospital, and by 2:30 was on that transport. And the only reason it took that long is because that was the only day of the year we had a snowstorm. It's hard to make people understand things like that because they think we have time to make decisions. We didn't have time to make a decision. We asked, in fact, well, I guess I have to say the name of the hospital because this person said outright, well, you should have went to St. Jude. That was the first word out of the wife, and we didn't even know St. Louis Children's Hospital existed. The first thing we said to the doctor was, what about St. Jude's? He says, you need to go here, St. Louis Children's. So that's what we did. That's what the doctor advised. Now, by the time we got to St. Louis Children's, we were told that because of the type of leukemia my son has, he did not qualify for St. Jude's care. So we stayed where we were. But people already have their minds made up, and I couldn't make her understand that wasn't an option for me. She kept tossing me links to other places to prove her point. What she doesn't understand is that she can throw out 100 links to try to prove her point. We didn't have an option. We were in the moment. When you're in that moment, it's not like we had weeks or even a couple of days to make a decision.
Well, what was her point?
A decision.
I mean, what was her point? What kind of insurance does she have? Health insurance? Does she have the best?
Originally, we were talking about people were, not everybody qualified for SSI, but what it came down to is that she didn't think even somebody like my son should get it because if I did apply for it and if I did receive it, then I was somehow sucking the life out of the system.
Oh, really?
So it came down to the fact that once we had all these 100 comments back and forth, is that she was angry at me for even thinking about getting it. And it just came down to that. Originally, her point was people were faking it, but it came down to the fact that she didn't think anybody deserved.
All right, listen. I understand what this woman is all about now, and it's a much broader issue than the fact that, you know, she terminated a friendship with you. This woman...
At the end of the day, it just didn't matter anymore. You know,
I'm listening. I'm listening.
You ever have a conversation with somebody and you realize at some point they're not ever going to change your mind, and neither are you? That's kind of what we were. You know, I wasn't going to change her mind, and she couldn't change my mind because I live in this situation. She was trying to make something happen for me that wasn't an option. I mean, she kept telling me, well, you could have went to St. Jude's, but it was never a possibility.
But based on the comments...
She kept telling me link after link that I was trying to prove her point that I could, but I couldn't. She wasn't there. You know, she wasn't there back in February when I was crying and pulling my hair out. Worried about that. She was there. I was. My wife was. We lived through it, you know, and I couldn't make her understand the option. And every time I tried to say that wasn't an option, she'd pop a link up.
All right, listen.
To try to live in an option, but it was never an option, you know. And it didn't matter how many times I said she just couldn't get it.
She didn't get it, and I know exactly why she didn't get it. This woman, based on what you told me, the content of based on the content of your conversation with this woman and the things that she said, the statements that she made, this woman is obviously a right-wing conservative Republican, you know, that doesn't want that thinks all welfare. I'm going to
at some point in the conversation, she said, well, I don't know. See, here's where this part comes in.
I'm going to discuss this Saturday.
Well, hold on. You need to let me say this part. She says, you don't understand what in my life I've had to overcome a lot of things, but you don't know that because I don't plaster it all over Facebook. And that's when I really took offense. I said, I'm not putting this stuff on Facebook. I post what I post on Facebook because my family and friends want to know. That's what people want me to quit posting. I'll quit posting. But there's a reason why I do what I do. I mean, if you don't want to hear about it, I'll quit talking about it. You know, if you want to just talk about beer and me being goofy on this show, by God, you're more than happy to do that.
Listen, I'm glad you told me
about this. I just didn't want to hear out, but that's what I'm going through.
I'm glad you told me about this woman because she's part of a very large group of individuals that myself and the Reverend Dr. Bill discuss and bash every Saturday on progressive discussions. This woman, she's a right-wing conservative. She resents the fact that anybody who is not financially independent or an elitist or wealthy, if anybody gets help from society or the government, she doesn't want to help anyone. They just want low-income people or, you know, middle-class people that are struggling. They want them to just die, and you know, they don't want to pay. You know, the elitists don't want to pay any taxes at all. And these are the people that this woman is representing based on the comments.
The reason I tried to make the point in the argument was that she was talking about people faking, and I tried to make the point that there are legitimate needs, like my son that has leukemia. But did she even question that, saying that I could have done other things where I could have made other decisions along the way where I wouldn't have to have the government bail me out. So by her making statements like that, it leads me to believe that she doesn't think anybody deserves any help.
Yeah, but the point is that
I think the first part of her argument is kind of misleading because at first she's saying, well, maybe some people deserve it, but a lot of people are faking it.
Faking it.
And my son has leukemia, so he's obviously not faking it.
You have to
jump all over me for not taking pre-medical care that was never available to me in the first place.
But you have to go to their doctor. How could anybody be faking it if you have to go to the government's designated physician to verify the condition. Nobody, people just can't
I
apply
mean,
for.
it just had to be pulling my hair out because, I don't think I've had conversations with this person before, and I don't think she's a bad individual. And I thought at some point she'd understand where I was coming from, but she never quite seemed to get it, no matter how much. Because before she even knew what I was talking about, she made the comment, well, I bet you never even thought about going to St. Jude's, did you?
Because these
when somebody tells you your son has cancer, that's the first hospital that pops into your mind. But when the doctor first said your son has leukemia, we said, what about St. Jude's? That's the first hospital. And the doctor here in Springfield says you got to go to St. Louis Children's Hospital.
She reminds me of
what we act like you have hours, or we didn't even have hours, we didn't have days, we didn't have hours, we didn't have a lot of time. It had to happen in minutes.
I know.
When it's like this happens, and anybody who has a child that's been through this knows exactly what I'm talking about. You have to react now.
Never allow people like this who base everything on ideology and not necessarily on proven cold, hard scientific fact, but simply crazy, zealot ideology. Never let these people make you feel guilty, because when my mother was younger and she was trying to raise us without a father, she collected food stamps at one time and some welfare, and somebody in the supermarket, some nosy bastard online in the supermarket tried to make her feel guilty for using food stamps. And she just told the person off. This was back in the day, because if it happened now, there'd be a lot of fist fights at the supermarket if anybody said anything now. But never let these individuals make you feel guilty about it, because, you know what I mean? They might be better off financially than all of us put together. So if it's not
personally, I don't want to talk about her. I don't want to talk about her name. I want to end this conversation because it's very uncomfortable. But I mean, it was frustrating at the time because, I know what she was telling me, things that I should have done that weren't a possibility to even do. And that's the part that was frustrating. Well, you should have done this, you should have done that. I didn't, we didn't have time. The doctor says we're 80% sure your child has leukemia, but we don't have the capabilities to diagnose it here, so I need you to go there. You're emotionally drained. You're upset. I mean, I'm crying like a baby because I've got this incredible son who's been healthy his whole life,
right?
And all of a sudden, I know that things are really, and at the moment, I don't want to make it seem more dire, but I mean, things were very, things were very serious at that time when the possible diagnosis we were told about. And that doctor said, we can't wait. He needs to go now. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have days. We didn't have weeks. We didn't have hours to make the decision. We had a minute to make a decision, so we did it. Now, if I made the wrong one, well, then, hey, my bad. But we had to do what we had to do at the time, and that's it. Did I lose you?
No, I'm here. I'm here.
James, you say what you got. I'm not going to say any more about it. You wrap this topic up. We'll go on to the next one.
Yeah, let me wrap it up. All I have to say is, I want to congratulate the progressive Supreme Court justices that have voted for Obamacare. It is a great victory for the little guy, for the poor slob, the working stiff, mainstream America. A huge victory for us against the elitists. And all I have to say about what you just heard is that woman is like the rest of the elitists and the Republicans. Okay, the Rethuglicans, like John Starodumsky told me, the Rethuglicans and the Blue Dog sellout traitorous demo rats, and that came from Red Rooster, by the way. Thank God that
too.
the progressive Supreme Court justices voted for this health care reform. It's about time. And I know the Weeper of the House, John Boner, whatever the hell his name is, Bonehead.
What color is he anyway?
He was like he was starting to cry. I got some nice photos of him, starting to just the beginning of crying because he couldn't screw the poor by giving them no health care. But anyway, this woman is like the others. If it's not their problem, if it's not their problem, they don't care. They're selfish. They're despicable. They have no compassion. They lack compassion. Shame on you. You're lucky I don't know your name, because Saturday I would tear you to pieces. But I will bring it up Saturday with Reverend Dr. Bill. You can put that in your pipe and smoke it. All right, now the last beer is Genesee.
I'm having a Genesee Cream. This is one of those old school brews. You know what I'm saying?
I know it.
They've been brewing this since 1962, I believe, and if I'm wrong, correct me. It could be 61. But they've been brewing this maybe a long time. And the original purpose of the Genesee Cream Ale was, of course, most Americans were used to drinking very lighter brews. And the notion of an ale seemed very heavy to Americans. It was just the idea. They thought ales were heavy. So the Genesee Cream Ale came about as trying to make an ale that was palatable for most Americans at the time, and that's what this came about. So this is a very light ale.
Well, I think it was originally made in Canada, possibly.
And I believe it's 5.2%. But then again, like I said, I rushed on here. I got behind. I usually do my homework, and I didn't have time today. But this is a good, very likable, again, 100-degree plus weather beer.
Well, I've mentioned Genesee Cream Ale to John Starodumsky and Red Rooster on past shows, and I have voted Genesee Cream Ale to be one of the world's best value for the money, for the low price, very low price, economical.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. I love these bottles. It was they've kind of gone back to their retro packaging with little stubbies.
Yes.
How they used to package. They used to call these bottles stubbies.
Little stubby.
This is a six-pack that cost me $5.63. With tax, it was $6.06 for a six-pack.
Okay. And for a high-quality cream ale, that's a reasonable price. I think there's a brewery in Rochester, New York, if I'm not mistaken now. But Genesee Cream Ale is...
Genesee and Dundee are the same. Have you seen Dundee beers out there? Genesee and Dundee are at the same brewery.
Okay. You know what Canadian beer... Of course, everybody knows about Molson's, but have you ever heard of Moosehead and Grizzly?
Yeah, I used to drink Moosehead and Grizzly all the time when I grew up in California. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but Genesee, I'm telling you, Genesee Cream Ale, Yinling beers, lager, and some of the microbrews that you have introduced me to that were reasonably priced. America definitely has high-quality craft beer at a low price. So you don't feel guilty or feel bad if you're getting a great value for the money. The hell with those beer snobs, those yuppie food, drink, and beer snobs that always mention, oh, I spent $10 for a six-pack. Oh, I spent $25. I'm so sophisticated. Oh, I buy nothing but designer this and designer that. I'm so much better than everybody. Ooh. You know what? Screw you.
Back in the 60s, bottles had all kinds of different shapes to them. And a lot of breweries had these stubby-type bottles. But for some reason, back in the late 70s, step into the 80s, everybody thought everything tasted better out of a long neck for some bizarre reason. So all of a sudden, every bottle went to a long neck. Well, it's just a ridiculous statement. Long necks are... add nothing to the flavor of beer if you're drinking it right out of the bottle. And these stubbies probably don't either. But I actually like the bottle better. And for me, truthfully, if you're drinking out of a bottle, stubbies are much easier to drink out of.
I like stubbies because, it's... Because
I don't know if you're watching, but this thing is going down faster than a Tijuana hooker.
Well, a stubby, when you think about it, a stubby, it the beer reaches your lips a lot faster than the long neck because of the.
Yeah, you know, and it does. I mean, there's some, you know, if you just walked in the house, you know, you're dying from a hard day's work. It's gonna be better out of a stubby than a long neck.
Sure, I like the stubby. I like it. The long neck for those that
I
insist.
bottles.
For those that
I've
insist
been
on
dying
the.
to find a heritage collection. They have a heritage collection, 3 of their old world styles, but I can't get it here. And I'm behind. I wish somebody would buy it. And I'll trade them some beer if they can send me the heritage collection. They'll send them here. But I can't find the heritage collection here, and I really want it.
Yeah. No, I like this.
So if anybody wants to work with the beer whisperer, send you whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, whatever you drink, you're going to get an on.
I'm not even trying to drink this thing fast, and look how much I've got left. This beer just is hot. Yeah, it's hot. This beer just goes down easy.
Regardless what you drink, you will always give an honest review. You know what I mean? Even if somebody gave me a free case of something, I'm going to give an honest review. You know? You know,
here's my stance on that. I think if you can get free beer, more power to you, sweetie. That's great, but here's my problem. I don't think you should actively solicit it. I think if you're sending letters and making phone calls to breweries to get free beer, I think that's wrong because I think your integrity is already compromised.
Well, those are the beer whores.
Hey, Tom, how about trying this? I think you're okay.
Yeah.
Or here, take a 6-pack home and let me know what you think. I think that's fine, but I think if you're sending in that, if you have an active letter writing campaign, easy for me to say. I mean, if you're trying to contact every brewery known to man, trying to get free beer, I think your integrity is already compromised.
Well, yeah, you're breaking up again, Tom. These are the beer whores that myself, Red Rooster, and John Starodumsky talk about. These are the beer whores that go out and actively solicit free beer and then give the phony, lying reviews. These people are despicable and should be put in the camel clutch pronto. And I will be putting up a new video tonight of me performing with the Persian clubs and the Shena push-up block. I did that last night, and I will be putting that up tonight on the internet. So, but anyway,
am I breaking up? Can you hear me now?
I'm here. I hear you now, but you know, occasionally you break up. Have you ever called? Have you ever called?
I don't think it's wrong to take free beer. I think it's wrong to ask for it, and I think that's the distinction. If you take it, but if you're asking for it, then your integrity is compromised.
Of course, because then you look like a panhandler.
And I think that's the difference. There we go.
Exactly. I mean, I'm glad you made Genesee Cream Ale and Red Stripe, you know, part of the show, because I heard so much about Red Stripe, but I personally, I am fond of Genesee Cream Ale. I always was. As far as the value goes, before I was introduced to Yuengling, Genesee Cream Ale was my #1 pick in the Northeast for a good quality beer at a low price. And of course, Yuengling came into the picture, and now it's like, you know, there's just tons and tons of craft breweries in America. You know, it's endless, you know. But as far as look, with all the breweries that are out there, there's no reason to have to spend over $8. Even $8 to me is a little much for beer, but to spend, you know, 8, 9, 10, 15, whatever, there you go. For a beverage that's made with grains, you know, barley, water, yeast, and hops. It's ridiculous. There's no reason for it. You know, but You know, it's like anything else. It's like paying, what is it, $300 an ounce for beluga caviar. You know, why? What's the point? What is the point?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what can I say? I mean, I grew up poor, so I didn't eat things like that. You know, I posted the other day that I was making old school SOS. You know, that's the kind of stuff I grew up on. So, you know, and salmon patties I made the other day. That you know, people of wealth call salmon croquettes, but for me, it's a salmon patty.
Well, yeah, I used to make salmon cakes, even crab cakes. You know, I would get the canned crab meat. You know, from Southeast Asia. It's like a little over $2 a can, you know, because it's from Southeast Asia. And I would make crab cakes with I would use the texturized soy protein or panko breadcrumbs and, you know, little mayonnaise, little Lea and Perrins, some spices, you know, and chopped celery, whatever, a little onion, onion and minced onion, and you got yourself a salmon cake or crab cake, or you know what, try with mackerel. If you want to really get a great value, use jack mackerel instead of salmon. I think you can get it for like 50 cents or 75 cents for a 16-ounce can. And try to make fish cakes with that. It tastes a lot like salmon. Unless the salmon is, you know, make sure it's not farm raised. Make sure it's wild Alaskan salmon. Don't use the farm raised, but you know, get it when it's on sale. My veggie burger concoction was a huge success. I was very impressed with it. But anyway, Genesee Cream Ale, definitely one of the world's best quality for the price.
I know we're about ready to wrap this thing up. I went ahead and popped a second one because I was thirsty.
Yeah. Well, no, we'll wrap it up with Genesee.
You were talking, I just popped a new beer. I didn't even ask. I just did it.
So, you know, all these yuppie food and drink and beer snobs that have nothing to say about our shows, and they want to continue to be sophisticated and shove in your face how much money they spend on everything. You know what? Screw them. Them.
You know, it's okay. And I think... you know, people got to be who they got to be. You know, if that's who you are, that's fine. You know, I'm just not going to try to pretend to be who I'm not. I mean, I am a goofy guy. Like I said, this isn't a persona I put on for your show 24/7. You know, so you should feel sorry for my wife and kids because they have to deal with this stuff all the time. I'm not just trying to be somebody for this show. I am this goofy character. It is who I am. So.
It's just like when I went to the farmer's market, and I was telling the guy I knew that ran the nursery that, you know, that I grow a lot of things in very large 5-gallon buckets with potting soil, because the soil in my area is horrible for gardening. You know, it's all, you know, it's hard, and there's a lot of clay in it, and there's tons of rocks in it, so it's terrible for gardening. So this woman, all dressed up with her hoity-toity boyfriend or husband, you know, they look like they were yuppies. She goes, oh, I'm sorry, that is not organic. That if you're growing something in a 5-gallon bucket, it is not classified as real organic. I said, well, let me tell you something. Everything's growing great, and I can't use my soil. And I've been harvesting peppers and tomatoes and everything else this way, and it's working fine. And
yeah, no, we've actually, my wife is, he was talking about using 5-gallon plastic buckets. And that if you use a plastic bucket, somebody was told him that you can't classify it as organic. It was in plastic.
It works.
My wife's just screwing.
It works. Tell your wife I've been picking veggies.
That's not what she said, because that's not her personality. But it worked for us too. In fact, other than this year, we have no garden because we haven't been at home enough to do it. But usually we have a great garden because she does a great job out there.
Well, I get the buckets. I get the. They're not like tall buckets. They're more broad and shallow with a rope on it. I get them at the Dollar Tree. I get them at a dollar stores, and I get the potting soil at the dollar store also. And
my wife just yelled at me from the back there. We use food grade buckets.
Yeah, these buckets came in all colors. You know, for $1 each, you can't go wrong. And you know,
we usually get them from like bakeries and that sort of thing. You know, buckets are going to discard. We get from them.
You know what I'm doing now? You're going to be surprised. To save money on fertilizer on Miracle Grow, I read that the water from a freshwater aquarium is excellent fertilizer for plants. So what I did was I took an extra 5-gallon bucket that I got from the Chinese, from the international buffet restaurant I go to. The waitress went and I saw her carrying buckets that, you know, the soy sauce came in and the wonton, whatever. So I asked her, can I have one of those buckets? They were nice. 5-gallon plastic bucket with a good handle on it. Heavy duty plastic. She says, sure, I'll give you one. I got 2 little feeder goldfish in the bucket. So I used the water from the goldfish bucket to put in my my veggies. Excellent fertilizer for the plants. So you people out there that are into gardening, that want to raise your own fertilizer, and guess what? Goldfish are mostly vegetarian. You can give them. You can put dandelions. You can put bunny leaves in it from the yard. You can put clover. They'll eat all that, and it'll just recycle into fertilizer for your garden. But anyway, that wraps it up.
Well, we actually have a composter out back too. We'll compost our stuff. So.
Okay, so you learned a little bit about many subjects, very diverse. I know we always do very diverse shows, but
we haven't offended somebody. We weren't trying.
Yeah, well, you know, you'll get somebody complaining that we got off the subject of beer. But you know what? There's more to life. Yeah,
holy cow.
There's more to life than craft. I hate to burst your bubbles out there. There's more to life than craft beer. There really is. Huh? There is. There is, really. But you're cracking me up. But you know, but we look, we're able to cover all the craft beer that you pop open and educate people and give them the necessary information they need.
You know, a lot of people, it's become kind of a trend now to do to give beer a grade. You know, the 85, 90, 95, 100, or A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I don't begrudge folks for doing that, you know, because if that's how you identify with that, that's cool. For me, it's much more simple. I ask myself 2 questions. The first question is, do I like it? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, then I ask myself a second question. Would I buy it again at that price? It's a yes or no.
Right.
You know, it's very simple. Is this a good beer? Yes, that's decent. I liked it at this moment. And is it worth $5.63 a 6-pack? Absolutely. Will I buy it again? Yeah. When it's 100 freaking degrees out, you bet your ass I'm going to drink this again.
Well, the people that grade beer like that, they want to sound like diamond graders, or it just adds to their snobbiness. You know.
I'm kind of a pass-fail guy. You know what I mean? You know, I'm either going to do it again or I'm not. And pass or fail for me, baby.
It catches your eye.
It catches good. Doesn't mean I'm going to buy it again. I mean, there are some beers out there that cost $10, $15 a 6-pack that are wonderful. But there might be another beer just as good out there for $10 a 6-pack. So just because I like it, I might even like it a lot, may not mean I'll buy it again. You know.
I mean, it catches your eye. You buy it, you drink it, and you make a decision. Is it worth buying again? And if there's something about it you don't like, you don't buy it. As simple as that. Pass or fail. Pass or fail. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is you do not have to go for, an 8 or $10 or $15 a six-pack beer for it to be, completely enjoyable and superior in quality. I mean, it is possible to get a quality beer. Now the beers that you saw today, they're not the top of the line, but Tom is having a heat wave. So are we. So you want something thirst quenching?
Tom's having a heat wave. Tom's old, fat, and hot. Yeah, it was hot today.
Tom is having
and I think even every serious beer geek has their nostalgia beverage. For me it was Oli because that's what my dad drank. And if you grew up in New York, Rochester specifically, it was probably Genesee, regular Genesee, not the cream ale. And then there's other parts of the country that you have your regional brew. And what I'm saying is it's okay. Everybody buys those things and you don't tell your friends about them. But I'm telling you, it's okay. Buy it, drink it, and be proud about it because that's your heritage. Not everything has to be that craft beer, diamond.
Go for the local.
Sometimes nostalgia feels good, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, go for the local, just like farming, produce, livestock, dairy, everything should be, in America was local, and drink from local breweries, support your local craft breweries, and there's a lot of good stuff out there, and, you will find a bargain. You will find bargains if you look for them, and, to all the people that want to be beer snobs, let them continue to do what they do. And that's about it, If it makes them happy, bragging about how much they paid for something, more power to them, But
we ran this longer than we planned on, so we probably better cut her down. But
we're done. We're done. So anyway, thank you for joining me for Volume 11 of Regional Food and Drink and Honest Craft Beer Reviews. Tom, the Beer Whisperer. Tom has to get up very early tomorrow, so but we did a long show, nevertheless.
The original intended for about 45 minutes, but I get to rambling.
Yeah, we touched on, we talked about healthcare, we talked about politics, we talked about personalities, in a negative light, rightfully so. We did beer reviewing. What I was trying to say before is we still get inadequate beer reviewing, aside from the humor, slapstick stuff, and all the other subjects we touch upon. We still get the job done when it comes to beer reviewing. So, nobody, even though somebody might say we get off the subject a lot, but we still get it done. We usually cover, on average, 3 beers per show. 3 to 4 beers per show, right? Right, Tom? On average. Okay. Thank you for joining us for Volume 11. Take care.
Thank you.